Welcome to this Security AI Plus training module. We're going to get right into it because we're talking about something critical for all of us. How do we actually build and, more importantly, secure the AI systems that are changing everything? Specifically, we're focusing on the AI that can read, write, and understand human language. Because if you're the one responsible for securing these systems, you have got to know what's really going on under the hood. So let's start with the big question that's probably on your mind. When you look at all the different AI tools out there, everything from the Copilot in your IDE to the tools scanning documents for compliance issues, how do they actually work? It feels like it must be a dozen different technologies, right? Well, it turns out the reality is a lot simpler, and honestly, a lot more powerful. Almost all of them, from the biggest to the smallest, are built on one single revolutionary piece of tech. And here it is. That foundational technology is called the transformer architecture. The best way to think about it is as the universal engine for modern language AI. This is the single breakthrough that made literally everything else we're about to discuss possible. So what is it really? Well, the transformer is a deep learning model that just completely changed the game. See, older models had to read text sequentially, like a person does, word by word. The transformer, it can see the entire document, all at once. That ability to see the whole picture, to get how the very first sentence connects to the very last one, that is its superpower. And this is why it completely took over the entire industry. First off, something called self-attention. It's a really clever way for the model to weigh which words matter most in a sentence. Second, parallel processing. This is huge. It lets us train these models on mountains of data incredibly fast. That speed then leads to scalability, which lets us build models with trillions of parameters. And finally, they're multimodal. They can handle text, images, and sound all in one go. That combo is it's unbeatable. Okay, so if the transformer is the engine, what kind of vehicles does it power? In the enterprise world, we're really talking about three main categories. We've got natural language processing, or NLP, large language models, LLMs, and small language models, SLMs. Let's break each one down. First up, NLP. Now, NLP is kind of the umbrella term for the whole field of getting computers to understand us. And look, NLP has been around for decades, but let's be super clear. Today, any high-performance NLP you see is almost certainly running on a transformer. So in a business setting, this means running very specific targeted jobs. Things like automatically sorting support tickets, creating summaries of long legal docs, or translating emails on the fly. And from a security point of view, one of the absolute most important NLP tasks is named entity recognition. That's how we automatically find and protect sensitive stuff like PII. Now, let's kick things up a notch to our next category, large language models, or LLMs. These are the giants, the big names you've all heard of, GPT-4, Claude, Llama 3. They are just massive transformer models trained on an unbelievable amount of data. We're talking huge chunks of the internet, entire libraries of books, and massive codebases. And with that kind of scale, you unlock some pretty incredible abilities. We're not just talking about simple tasks anymore. LLMs can do advanced reasoning, they can generate and debug complex code, and they can even automate entire workflows. They're the general-purpose powerhouses for the toughest problems. But as we all know in security, bigger isn't always better, especially when your data is on the line. And that brings us to our third and maybe for us most critical category, small language models, or SLMs. These are still transformers, but they've been specifically engineered to be smaller, more efficient, and hyper-focused. Think models like Phi 3 or Mistral 7B. And this is exactly where they are absolute superstars. SLMs are built for that one critical mission, when your data absolutely cannot leave your control. They can run on-prem, inside an air-gapped network, or even right on someone's laptop. This makes them the go-to choice for meeting strict data sovereignty laws like HIPAA and GDPR, and for any real-time tasks where every millisecond counts. So this brings us right to the heart of our training today. Let's put security and compliance front and center. Now that we get the different types of models, let's put them head-to-head and compare their security posture. This slide really just lays out the fundamental trade-off. With LLMs, you're usually sending your data out to a third-party API to get that massive power. That means a bigger attack surface and a way more complicated compliance story. With SLMs, it's the total opposite. You have full data control, a tiny attack surface that lives within your own walls, and a much cleaner, simpler path to compliance because you control everything. When you're using the power of an LLM, you're also taking on a very specific set of risks. You've got to worry about things like prompt injection, where an attacker tries to trick the model, or the potential for data leakage from its training set, and of course, hallucinations, where the model just makes stuff up. Managing these tools means you need a really robust setup for monitoring, logging, and guardrails. On the other hand, SLMs give you some amazing security advantages right out of the box. You've got total control over the model and the data. Nothing ever gets sent to an outside vendor, which means there is zero risk of a third party training their next-gen model on your private proprietary info. For compliance, that's a total game changer. Okay, let's pull all of this together. We've covered a lot of ground, from that universal engine to the specialized vehicles it powers. So now let's build a clear roadmap for how to choose the right model for your security needs. This table here really drives home the main idea of our entire session. Whether you're talking about a specific NLP task, a giant LLM, or a secure little SLM, the core architecture is always the transformer. They're just different optimizations of the exact same technology, each one fine-tuned for a specific job, be it accuracy, sheer scale, or lockdown security. And don't think for a second this is theoretical. This tech is already the engine running our enterprise copilots. It's the intelligence inside our secure document scanners, and it's the power behind the tools we use every single day to write code and watch for compliance issues. And if there is one single trend you need to be watching, it is this one right here. As security and data privacy become non-negotiable, SLMs are quickly becoming the default choice anytime sensitive data simply cannot leave the organization. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about for your own work. When it comes to your organization's crown jewels, your most sensitive, valuable data, which model is the smarter strategic choice? The incredible power of a generalist LLM, or the absolute control of a private specialized SLM? Your answer to that is going to define your security posture for years to come.